So if you want different results, you got to do something different. And that might be working with someone who would keep you accountable for a short space of time to create those big results or big outcome or create a launch. So you got to do something different if you want to have different outcomes right now.
Welcome to Women's Thrive Podcast. This is where you'll get to hear incredible stories of female entrepreneurs, business owners, women from all walks of life. Myself, Raimonda, and my co-host Abigail will be interviewing incredible women, hearing inspiring stories of women from all around the world. I have no doubt that you will find something that will be life-changing for you. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and join us for our future episodes.
Hello, welcome to today's episode with your host, Raimonda. I'm excited to have you all here for today's episode, and we're covering Success Sprint, how to create momentum in your business in 6 weeks or less. Now, I have been seeing and speaking to a lot of women who want to create results in their businesses, and I know we want to get there faster. Now, in this episode, I want to cover some key topics in how to create fast momentum, how to create quicker results in your business without making shortcuts in your business. Because I know a lot of people will sell you the dream and tell you, look, there is a shortcut to success. The truth is, it builds up to it, but there are strategies and techniques that you can use in order to create quick success momentum, which are called the 6-week success sprints. I do that in my business quite a lot because it generates quick results and outcomes. And it also offers clarity because a lot of times we're kind of coasting and creating momentum in our day-to-day business, but it doesn't necessarily lead to quick and rapid results, and therefore not really feeling like we're making progress. So right now you might be feeling like things are not moving fast enough, I'm not creating results, or I'm putting in so much effort, like I'm posting every day, emailing every day. I feel like I'm launching something, but it's not really creating those results right now. So if you're in that position, I want to talk to you about the 6-week success sprint and how to create that momentum. I know it's really frustrating in this business sometimes, being in the online space and just being in this coasting period of your business. So let's switch things up. If you're ready to dive in, let me know in the comments. I love seeing engagement, especially on our YouTube channel. If you're watching this on YouTube, to see your comments, your questions, what really resonated with you. Now, in the previous episode, I talked about what's missing in your business strategy, and I encourage you to go back and watch that episode or listen to that episode because it covers some of the fundamentals, what it takes to succeed and also to have strategy. And this is part of kind of building blocks of your success. So we talked about visibility, monetization, and real clarity in your business and in your strategy. When you're trying to achieve something and when you're trying to get results, I think just getting clear on your strategy of what do you want to achieve. So before we begin today's episode, I want to ask you the same question. What is it that you want to achieve in your business right now? What is the priority? Maybe it's to grow your email list. Maybe it is to generate some revenue, like create a fast cash injection into your business. Maybe it's to grow and scale. So you're going to look at what are my short-term goals? And then what are my longer or medium-term goals? When you get clear, this is my short-term goals, then you can implement the 6-week sprint in order to achieve that. And also bearing in mind, what are your longer term goals? Because that might be building your brand, building your email list, like I said. So if building an email list is part of your long-term success strategy, you want to look at how does your short-term strategy and all the tactics that you're putting into place right now is going to play out for a long-term success for you, right? So you want to create that sustainability long-term. So what's keeping you stuck right now? What's not generating results? And where are you investing a lot of your time and energy right now that perhaps you're not seeing the momentum? Maybe you're doing too many things, right? Sometimes we fill our plate and try to do everything. But because you're doing a bit of everything, it's not really generating any results. So I find that focused energy and commitment to one particular direction leads to results faster. And that's part of the success sprint. Can you go into something for long enough to see the results, right? To create that consistent attention and focus on that one particular thing to generate results. A lot of women, I say women because we tend to feel a bit of an imposter, or I'm not ready, I'm not good enough. So we're staying in this learning mode. We're constantly learning, we're constantly adding something into our repertoire of skills and knowledge, but we're not using it, we're not applying. So maybe you're just buying one course and another course and another course and kind of waiting for that particular moment to start. And you could do that simultaneously. Now, I take programs, I take coaching, I learn every single day, but I still take action. You got to be implementing all the time and not just learning. So if you're in learning mode, I would encourage you to see how can I go from learning mode to implementation and kind of do it simultaneously as well. Maybe you're just lacking a bit of strategy and accountability. Now, that's a big part because, again, sometimes we're just coasting. The comfort zone is sweet because we do the same thing every day. You wake up, you make some social media posts, you send out an email, maybe you do a podcast, you work with some clients, and so on and so forth. And every week is the same thing, but you're not doing something different to create different results. So if you want different results, you got to do something different. And that might be working with someone who would keep you accountable for a short space of time to create those big results or big outcome or create a launch. So you got to do something different if you want to have different outcomes right now. I found that doing it alone is also quite hard because you're not seeing your momentum. And when I try to initiate new projects or initiate something new in my business or create a launch and I feel like I'm doing it on my own, I don't feel the momentum. And because you don't feel the momentum, you kind of feel a bit discouraged, or is it working? Is it happening? Because you might not be seeing the result or you're not feeling the momentum. The minute you start to work with someone, or you sharing it with a team, or you have somebody else accountable in that project, suddenly you start to see momentum. Because again, there is part of that accountability, part of that is just sharing it with someone, and that creates a bit more momentum and also motivation for you to make that move, to take action, right? If you've spoken to someone and you said, hey, I'm going to do this, the next thing you want to do is go and get it done. So don't try to move mountains on your own because it will be much harder. And feeling like maybe you're not visible right now, or maybe you're not feeling like you're truly stepping into your authority, and that can hold you back a lot. It doesn't matter if you're going to put concentrated effort into something. If your mindset is telling you, oh, I feel not successful, not visible, maybe I'm not feeling my best right now, I don't know if this is going to work. So if doubt is creeping in for you, the chances are the energy that you put out isn't going to be reflecting the words that you say, right? So if you're questioning what you're doing, questioning your strategy, questioning if it's going to work, that isn't going to create results. So the first thing you really need to do is check in, where is my mindset right now? Where's my belief system? Do I believe that this is actually going to work out? Do I have completely full commitment? And that really requires almost, I put my blinders on, I have my goal, I have my target, this is what I'm going to achieve, and not just I want to achieve, but this is what I'm going to achieve. This is what it's done, right? It's done already. In my head, I already achieved that goal, and all I have to do is take action. Okay, so when you make that level of commitment, the sprint that I'm talking about, and we're going to delve into that in a moment, is going to be more effective. But if your mindset is, I'm not sure if it's going to work, and you kind of dabbling with it, your commitment isn't full, or you're questioning the level of success that's going to come out of it, it's not really going to work because you're going to coast. You're gonna be held back by your belief systems, maybe by fear, and you're not going to be as committed and you're not going to show up from 100% of yourself within it. Okay. So your commitment, your mindset, everything has to say the same thing. And if it's not, that's going to get in the way. So now that we've covered kind of the first part of what can get in the way or what has been getting in the way or what hasn't been working, I want you to write it down. I want you to check in with yourself, maybe even pause it right here, say, what hasn't been working? Where am I lacking resources, support, guidance, accountability, strategy, or other things like my mindset that I need to work on? Okay, so when you work on that, you'll be able to make those shifts much, much quicker. Okay. And I know things always get in the way, but I think it's really worth it to go all in on what you want for a short space of time and generate results. And I'll tell you why it actually works better than not. I attended a virtual conference some years ago, and there was this guy that was talking about marketing, and it really resonated with me. It was so powerful and visual that it stayed with me till today. And this was like 5 years ago. So, this guy was talking about marketing. He was talking about this analogy of when you're doing marketing on a day to day basis. And what happens is, it's as if you're standing at the lake and you're throwing a pebble, right? So when you throw in a pebble in the water, what happens? It creates small ripple, right? So when you're doing day-to-day marketing, every time you throw a pebble, which is your day-to-day content, your daily social media posts, it's creating a small ripple effect. And he was talking about how it's different to a launch, or what we're talking about here, like a 6-week sprint. With a launch, it's a really concentrated effort into that one thing. And he said, launch is like throwing a stone, like a big, hefty stone, and throwing a stone in the water. And it's not only just creating a ripple, but it's creating a splash, bang, right? It just creates a big bang, big energy explosion, and big ripple effect, which reaches much further. So when we're talking about the 6-week sprint, it's like, yes, you've been throwing the pebbles in the water and it's been creating small ripples, but it has not been reaching far enough. The momentum and the messaging and all the noise that you have been creating has not been reaching as far as you need it to reach and not creating big enough results. So if you want to create big enough results, you got to throw in a stone. You got to do something different with a real concentrated result. And that's where the sprint comes in, right? And I'll say if you want to launch something, if you want to create a big momentum, you need at least those 6 weeks to make that big splash. Okay. So it's like time bound, his focus period where you go all in on that particular strategy, implementation, visibility to create that momentum that you want to create in your business. And it's really, really effective for a number of reasons. One of the reasons, because you already set yourself a time limit. So you're not wasting time. You're not waking up in the morning, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. You already set yourself a time period in which you're going to show up all in. So it builds urgency, not only just for yourself, but for your audience as well. And it creates excitement. Okay. It creates a lot of excitement in your audience because there's something coming. And then when it comes, it only is happening for a limited amount of time. And then boom, right? It creates that effect and it closes. Secondly, it creates focus. So it cuts out all the noise as far as what you want to be doing, what are you going to be focusing on right now, which a lot of times we get distracted. Oh, another priority, something else came in, so I can't really focus on that right now. No, I made a commitment to this for the next 6 weeks. I'm going to go all in. So it creates focus, it creates commitment, and it cuts out the noise. And if it's something that you're going to go in publicly on, let's say your launch or your messaging or a program, what happens is it cuts out the noise for your audience as well. They're not wondering what is it that you're talking about today. It actually just really zones in into your message right now. So it really forces you to have more clarity and make decisions faster, more effectively, more efficiently, and you really get clear on where you're taking the action to, and it creates results. It really does create results much faster. It gets you more visible. And like I said, you, because you're committed to this particular thing and you already made a decision that this launch, the sprint is going to result, let's say you want to make 100K in the next 2 months. But even if you, obviously, if you're going to do a launch, it may only take 6 to 8 weeks. So you already made that decision. And in order for you to do that, what do you need to do, right? You could launch a low ticket program, but you'll have to attract a lot of people. But if you want to create a result, big result like that, let's say £100,000, you need to start working out the ins and outs of it. So what is the strategy? What are you selling? How much are you selling it for? So you got to think about, how is it going to lead to that particular result? If I'm going to take out my time for 6 weeks to do this, how can I achieve the results? So you become much more result orientated than ever before, right? It starts to get you really focused in on that goal. It's not just taking the action every day, it gets you focused on that goal. So when it does, when it starts to happen, when you start to see the results, when people start to take notice that something different is happening with you, you're showing up in a different light, you're showing up from a place of real commitment and energy and intentionality, you start to get results. So what happens when you get results? It starts to build your confidence. You start to feel like, oh, I did it. It's working. Something is happening. Momentum is building. And you get out of that place of just coasting, right? Just coasting, just getting a little results here and there. Now you start to see results from your efforts. And then it drives more energy and more momentum and more motivation into you, which then in turn creates even more results and more action. So, and not only because of that, because when you're launching, and let's say you see other people, your audience starting to see that you're starting to win, you're sharing your wins, you're sharing that you're attracting people, what happens is other people attracted to your success. Success brings in more success. And so it becomes a vicious cycle. And maybe you're not just in the launch mode, or you've gone through this new level of momentum, and you can maintain that momentum. Even if you launched one thing, and off the back of it, and off the back of that success, you can launch the next thing and the next thing, right? So maybe you launch your signature program. Now you can launch your mastermind, or you can launch your retreat, or you can launch your low ticket program. So now the people who've been sitting on the fence or on the sidelines watching you succeed, now they want to work with you. So even though that program has closed the doors, you open another program. So it continues to breed success within your business. So that's part two of what I wanted to cover, why success sprints, and specifically around 6 weeks period, really works. And it's part of the program that I'm currently offering to our clients as well. I'm offering 6 week success sprint program to work with me one-on-one, so I can help you achieve those results within that period of time and work on some key areas. So my key 5 focus areas when I work with people, there are a few things that we start to really look at in order for this to be effective. And I'll give you those 5 pillars right now so you can take note. Maybe we'll get to work together. But even if it's not, I want you to know that these are the things that perhaps you need to work on in order to get to those results, to even get to that 6 week sprint, which starts to generate results. But these are the key areas that I would help my clients and also myself get really focused in before we delve into the whole sprint and really we take condensed action. So here they are. So first thing first is clarity and strategy. So really getting clear around what is it that you want, why you want it, what results is it going to generate, and creating a strategy of like, How are we going to achieve this? What does it take in order, let's say you want that $100,000 or pounds result? What does it take to get there? What steps do we need to take? Do we need to create certain programs? Do we need to look at the monetization route? How can you achieve that from where you are now to achieving it, right? So you may have an audience, you may not have an audience, and you may have to go different routes than somebody else. So we got to look at real clarity around what is it you want, why do you want it, and how do we plan on getting there? Okay, so creating a real strategy behind it. The next part, your messaging has to be magnetic. Okay, it has to be really attractive to your ideal audience. Otherwise, it's going to fall flat on its face. And no matter how much clarity you have within yourself, no matter how much you're going to pursue the right strategy, if your messaging isn't magnetic and your messaging isn't really powerful, that lands within your ideal audience's mind and heart and souls, it's not going to help you. It's just not going to work. So we need to get the messaging part really, really clear. And then next part, we need to look at your visibility. Where are you getting visible? And where are you getting visible and how that helps you position yourself as an authority. So when people either find you or the people who already follow you, when they look at what you have to offer, they see you as you're the leader in the industry. They see you as the main source, the main person, the main character who they believe you're the main expert in it. You know what? I want to work with you because I believe you're the best. Right? Whether you are the best, there's always going to be somebody else in the industry who may be doing the same thing. The key is that your audience sees you as an authority and a leader in your area of expertise. And they buy your message, not necessarily because they believe you're completely the best, but because they resonate with the way you deliver that message. They resonate with your story, they resonate with your solution more than anybody else's. Okay. And I see some brilliant people who underprice their services, who don't stand in their authority of their expertise because they believe that there are the high level coaches or mentors who are far more successful in what they're doing. The truth is, those high level coaches aren't always better than them and aren't always going to deliver the service with so much love and appreciation for their clients and therefore not as much value. Because if you're going to go into a program with another 200, 300 people with a high level coach, you're not getting the service that you're paying for. You're not getting the attention from that coach. But if you're going to go with someone who may have a smaller audience, who may have a smaller group program, they are just as good. Their strategies are just as good. And they're going to give you even better results because you have more time with that coach. That's where I would look into. How can you position yourself as an authority, even if you're not the main character in the industry, and help you believe in that, help you believe in yourself, that you have some magic to bring to the table, and how you can create a perceived value in that despite somebody else having bigger program or bigger audience. Okay, I'm passionate about it, as you can see, because I think there are so many amazing people in this online space, yet they don't see their own greatness. They don't see how amazing what they do are. And I regularly work with people who not the top leaders in the industry, but they're so good at what they do and they'll go the extra mile. And I love that. I love when people are so committed to their work. And that's exactly what we have to find, the real gold within, and help you position that and help you believe in it as well. Okay, next part, number 4, is your offer monetization strategy. That's really, really important because if you don't have the right offer you're not going to get the right results. So we need to look at strategic offers and routes to monetization, because if you're going to invest in 6 weeks, 8 weeks project and condensed energy into something, you need to have the right offer and you need to have the right monetization strategy. And you can kind of stack the offers as well, which is really interesting. When you start to create momentum, your audience will start to want to buy things and may not just be that one thing that you're offering. So it all has to tie in together. So it has to be the right pricing, the right offer, the right value stack, and the right stack of offers in order to get you to that particular goal that you have. So I love doing monetization strategy because it gets me excited and it helps me help you figure out how to make money from what you're really good at, right? To help you position yourself with that offer for your ideal audience to gain value from you. So that's really exciting. That's the part that you don't feel strong about, like pricing and monetization strategies. That's something I really, really love working with women. Okay, last part, but probably the biggest, is action. Without action, nothing happens. So we can sit here, listen to the podcast, take all the notes, but if you're going to close a notebook and go back to your day to day tomorrow, nothing is going to change, right? There's not going to be different results. So you need to have commitment. You need to take action. You got to have your accountability with someone and just really have that commitment. Just go all out. Go all in on yourself. What's the worst that could happen within 6 weeks? If you go all in and it doesn't work, then you only just lost 6 weeks, but you haven't lost anything because you've tried your best, you've gave it your all, and truth is, something is going to happen. Something is going to reap some results that maybe you haven't even expected. And if it fails, then it's an indication that something was missing. Maybe there was lack of clarity, maybe lack of belief, self-belief in it. Maybe your strategy wasn't bulletproof enough. Maybe your messaging wasn't clear enough to your audience. So if you go all in and you really concentrate your effort on creating this big splash and it doesn't work, that's an indication for you to go back to the drawing board. Let's go back to the drawing board and see where can we refine things, where things did not add up, right? Maybe you didn't show up in your integrity. Maybe you didn't show up with your full confidence. Maybe the offer wasn't right? Or you didn't know how to do execute a launch. And that's a part where I support women. Like I said, currently, because it's a low season for me as far as events and serving our clients, usually in autumn, we're so full of with clients that I just don't have a moment to work with one-on-one clients. But right now in spring and summer, I have the time. And what I want to do is I want to work with few women, maybe 4 to 5 women, a handful of women, who want to execute this kind of strategy, like a really rapid pace success sprint. And I'm offering 6-week success sprint working with me directly. And every week we go through your strategy, your monetization, your mindset, your visibility, your authority building, your launch strategy, and I'll support you and take you through the whole accountability in the program. And then at the end, you have already executed your launch. You already started to get onto your way. And beyond that, let's say we worked through all of that for 6 weeks. You still have 4 weeks after the program with me where you can just check in. You can send me a DM, you can send me a voice note, you can send me an email and say, hey, this is what I'm doing. I've got a couple questions. So you can continue to rely on my support for you. And 6 weeks is amazing because it's long enough, but short enough to get results, but it's long enough to really see some results and keep your energy high. You really want to keep your energy high so you don't actually burn out. So when you have a really concentrated effort into this type of approach, what happens is it really helps you avoid burnout. You go all in for a short amount of time for a sprint, and it keeps your motivation, your energy high, and truly gets your results. So it's kind of a momentum builder strategy to help you from that lull period, that just coasting period in your business, to creating rapid results. And it helps you build confidence and momentum for a longer term. So, how did you enjoy this episode? Let me know. I'd love to hear from you. You can drop me a DM, you can leave a comment below. And look, if you're just feeling like, hooray, this is exactly what I needed. I want to take action. I want to go all in into my business right now, and I want to create that sprint, then drop me a message. I'd love to discuss with you how we can work together. I have 5 spots available to work with me one-on-one for the next few weeks. So I want to take you on a 6-week sprint and really go all in. You'll have me fully invested as your mentor, your coach, your strategist, and let's make results. Let's just stop playing nice and stop playing like, okay, just every day is the same thing. Let's create momentum, real momentum with a real strategy that not only going to achieve your short-term goals, but long-term goals as well, like long-term results for you. And I believe that doing things in 6-week sprint, and once you learn this approach and you go through this once, it's going to keep serving you over and over again. You may do one strategy with me for the next 6 weeks, achieve results, and get a financial injection into your business. Then you can replicate the same thing over and over again. You take a break, right? You serve your clients, and come back to the drawing board. Let's do it again, right? A few months later, let's do it again. And that's how I do with like enrolling my clients. I go all in for a specific period of time. And then it's amazing. It's amazing how it helps you build your confidence, your momentum, your engagement, it builds your thought leadership, it builds your success, your perceived success by your particular audience. And for me, it's just a win-win strategy. Like, so why waste time? Why do the same thing over and over again and not get results? Let's do something different, switch things up and create great results. So if you have enjoyed this episode, make sure that you give it a like, share with somebody, and leave some feedback. I'm doing 6 episodes, actually, solo episodes. We've done one already last week, and I'm doing a few episodes every week now before we close out this season. And it's going to be on different themes of strategy, launch, momentum building, visibility, thought leadership. So in my next episode, I want to talk to you a little bit more about the power of your story and how you can drive momentum with public speaking, and also the power of your story. So make sure you tap into the next episode. But for now, if you have enjoyed it, make sure you like and subscribe. And it was a pleasure to deliver this. If you have enjoyed it, make sure you reach out. Just put Success Sprint below and we will reach out to you if you want to continue working with me. That would be my pleasure and joy to support your journey. Thank you all for listening today, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Take care for now. Bye. Thank you for tuning in to Women Thrive podcast. If you found today's episode empowering and inspiring, be sure to subscribe and follow us. Better yet, leave a review and share it with others. We're committed to bringing you more stories that will empower and inspire you on your own journey. Until next time, keep listening, keep learning, and keep pursuing your dreams.